My name is Blake Love. I'm going to be talking about why free will is non-existent. Free will is non-existent because people tend to believe that they get free will throughout your whole life, which isn't true at all, which means you have to make sure you have to be determined to do free will, and that free will has to be determined with sufficient evidence, and that you have to make sure that the evidence is for the people that want to have free will. But in most of the articles that I found about free will, it is shown as being non-existent, and that it shows it doesn't really determine that free will does exist for many people. The reason that is because that free will determines to change people's perspectives and point of views about themselves, and that it might take a long time to do those perspectives and to make sure that those perspectives are changed and counted for. The second reason that free will doesn't exist is because if free will tends to determine that free will doesn't exist. One of the articles that I found about the point of view about this article is that most of the article says that free will is non-existent, and it doesn't perspect my big picture of this project is because I thought that free will does exist, but then after going through the many different articles that I did, it showed that free will isn't existent and that it might take a long time to do free will for themselves. The third reason that free will doesn't exist is because it also changes the determination of yourself to make sure that you have to make sure that you have to be determined to have free will. If you're not determined to have free will, what are you going to have to do for yourself to get free will and to make sure that free will works out for you? Free will, in my opinion, is all about being yourself, making sure that you're doing things in your own perspectives and beliefs. But if you don't believe in your own beliefs and perspectives, what are you trying to prove about free will? Even though some people say that free will is all about obtaining your own perspective of yourself, and that free will tends to determine a lot of other things, such as perspectives, beliefs, and many other stuff. And the fourth reason that free will is non-existent is because that free will tends to change over time, and many people don't realize that it changes over time, and that many people tend to believe that free will tends to be different. And the reason with the articles that I found is that free will is non-existent, and that even though my original perspective is that free will does exist, I learned that throughout these articles, I learned that free will is non-existent, and that it makes you determine over a period of time that you have to make sure that you, and many people that believe in free will, have to look back at the evidence and be sufficient about doing the evidence in order to make sure that the evidence is determined, and then you have to look into a lot of research to do that. And I did that. And it shows to me that free will isn't existent at all because it tends to take a longer time to do free will in order to do it for yourself and to make sure that you have to do free will for yourself, and that the big picture throughout this whole project for me for free will is that it doesn't exist, and that I found a lot of evidence that goes to show you that free will is not existent, and that free will is not existent at all, and that many people stop to believe that it is. Thank you.